Welcome, hello. Welcome to a late night evening, although these messages are timeless and whenever you are here and you receive and eat the mana, you know what I mean? Um, that's all on you. But either way, it's a very late night for me. And I was supposed to get on here recording before, but life happens and joy joyous things take place that can cause some delays. You know, not every delay has to be a negatively impacted one. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Hello, welcome. So today's gonna be kind of different because I'm slightly anointed with you know how it goes. I all my videos are freestyle. I don't have no script here. I don't have no agenda. I just go into this free channel, babbling flow, and that's the way we go. And we take off and we lift off, and it be also random in those kind of ways, right? That's just how I operate. Okay, and so oftentimes when before I record and I'm grabbing decks and oracles, tarots and oracles, um, I get a hint of, oh, okay, this is going to be about this. So this one's going to be deep because I started grabbing the shadow tarot and dark mirror and angel, and then I saw an angel number, and then I did a shuffle of the songs. And so there's some information already traveling through about what's this going to start being about. You know what I'm saying? But I did want to do my little wonderful time. That's this mother fudging time because it's needed. There's so much corruption, disruption. There's peace, rule within, as within and exude out. Let us be that what we are all about. I feel so awesome. Sorry, there. Now I sit on it more. I'm gonna see this. Chicka chicka. Mhm. Mhm. Hello. How are you? I hope that when you are here, you know, even if things are not also the way that you desire them to be fully, that you are in the right kind of alchemy, wherever you are right now, as you are right now, mind, body, heart, and soul, aligned in your truth, living your life bold to yourself in truth, authentic, be the rule. Let it at least be that. And if it's not, no judgment here. Let's work on that, my dears. For we are all in a position to be grown, evolved. There's no cap on it in terms of how much you can grow, how much you can evolve, how much you can heal. There's no mother fudging cap on any of that. You are an infinite, 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 immortal, energetic being. And in every existence, you will take a new form of something that you will be conscious to wherever you are. But as of right now, if you are here, welcome, for this is the 3D perceived reality that's on a metaverse of a shared universe. This perceived reality. That's what you're responsible for. Whatever you are awakened to. Like if you believe in other alternate realities and all this kind of stuff, you can't stay stuck there from this perception talking about a what if reality, even if it could be true. The only reality that you can respond to is the one that which you are conscious to. And whatever world that is in, you are the captain of that ship. And it is up to you to alchemize in whatever alignment you are guided into going. And the buildup of that is all dependent on you. Just be the truth. So either way, what's up? So we're gonna go deep. I was hoping it was gonna be some kind of like fun kind of thing. Like, you know, I was like, why do I always gotta be the serious one? Everyone already got like, you know, whatever. But that's the thing. Mindset. Mindset. You can't be acting in your new space with an old space up in my space, which is your own space. And that's challenging to even identify sometimes. So that's kind of where this is that in the cards that are being pulled today. It's to activate you even more so too in terms of your own development and your own evolution. So kind of like, we're going to speak about it, but like we're progressing, right? You're progressing. You are working on you, you are doing you, and it's going at your own pace. Let's not judge the pep in your step. Everybody's pep in their steps are going to be different because everybody's motivated by different things, and everybody has certain experiences and skill sets and disciplines that may have them doing something different or more or whatever, or strategic. Right? Like, you know, I have a good, like, with my own astrological chart as I grow in the both Western and Vedic side of it, in terms of elements. Like, I have a pretty good balance of elements in my chart, you know, some more dominating than others, granted, the water and the fires, right? Which have made me, and when you viewing it from a spectrum of comparison, let's say to an earth element or air element, I might seem like I could be a little bit volatile, right? Like that girl could be reactive, right? And so, you know, as we develop into our into taking charge of our behaviors, our patterns, our actions that we are aligning with through our understanding, right? For our understanding so that we can overstand our current situation and working on all these different composites and components and, you know, deepenings and deep sea dives that happen at this time. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. And depending on how you want to view that too, because perception be the rule here, I like to work on those things. Like, I like to take your sight and dissect it with you. So that's kind of like what we're doing here, because there's a lot of good, no matter how everything is seeming on the externals, you got to remember that we're in a perceived 3D reality that has a dominating energy that can appear to rule and dominate through fear, false evidence appearing real type tactics that can have the consensus, the collective, the majority seeing through the same telescope, fed the same information and all saying the same lines about life. And you can have the others that didn't see that memo, don't know what's going on, see shit for what they see it for, and learning through other kind of backstories, right? Kind of realities that can be challenging for the anomalies that, according to those that are in control, should never exist to sort of be the fix of how you want to perceive something. That's an anomaly. That's what's the word I'm looking for? I hear it in my mind. It's like I hear like a Nazi Germany kind of thing in my mind. Like I don't even know, but I don't even want to go there. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like a totalitarian, tyrannical kind of like dictatorship of like seeing something one way only and not understanding the variables of life and the infinite possibilities of potentials that can be created from anything and everything that you have no control over. You don't have control over unless you like eradicate it yourself, or you know, like snuff something out, or like go that route and stuff like that, which is different. But still, even that, the essence of the something, or you have no power over that. You know what I'm saying? Right? And so people think they do. I got you in a bottle. Can't fit, you got yourself in a bottle. Okay, when you gonna let yourself out, right? So it's just interesting, right? A lot of stuff. So although the world can seem a little chaotic, like with what's going on in the world out there, right? It's just popping off, and everybody's getting nervous. Fear, false evidence appearing real, to get you to react in every kind of conditioned way that you are trained, right? So in those kind of developments, because the dominating energies can, right, be like fudge. So you mofos like relax And for those of you that are here for educational purposes and those kind of resonance and this resonance, right? What was I saying? I started thinking about my cat because she over there making noise. I'm like, what the hell is she doing? And then now, like, you know how like when certain kind of noises, like let's say like you're sleeping in bed, and let's say you have pets, if you're an animal, but then you don't have to have pets. Like there's no such thing as silence. I used to always say, like even in silence there's a sound, right? But like let's say you're like sleeping, but you can hear what's going on, and any kind of like let's say you have a pet and you hear them walking, like you're not startled by that because you know that that's them walking and stuff like that. So right now I'm like processing the noise that I'm hearing, and I'm like, wait a minute, what is that? What is she doing? So it distracted me because I'm like, that's not a common noise. Like, what are you in and what are you doing? So sorry about that because I'm just like, wait a minute, but I'm here focused over here talking and like tuning out the noise, but then my brain, because I am as activated as I am, is like, wait a minute, this is unknown sound, unknown sound. It's like unknown sound. Like what do you mean over there, unknown sound? Yeah. So all right. So that's what we're talking about. So, right. So I'm gonna be patient with myself. You're not cool with that? That's off mindset. Thank you so much. Mindset. Right? Hold on. It's like mindsets, right? So, like I said, this is the late evening, but it's early morning, right? So, I started this recording after. I don't even know what time it is. What's up? All right, so it's after 3 right now. So I started this at 2 something. But it's interesting because when I started shuffling and I pulled one card from each of, well, I pulled one card from the shadows, and two, when I pulled the one flew out. So I took 2. And then for the mirror ones, one card, right? And then when that occurred, I had looked at the time, and the time was 2:23, and it was interesting because it was important because up until this like point, like let's say today, I saw 2:22 p.m. I saw 3:33. I saw 4:44. I saw 4:45. I saw 6:66. What I do 9:99. You know, you see all these numbers. I see a lot of different numbers and all this kind of stuff, and and you know how and then it made me think of the meme that people say, I saw a two like 2:23, like damn, I missed it, like so I must not be in alignment because people are looking only at like the triple digits and the numbers that are like 11 11, 2 2 3 3, 4 4 4. Like these are the most symbolic of spiritual numbers, but I have a lot of fun like reading numbers that are not, they don't all have to be like that, right? So, but it's funny because when I saw the 2:23, the meme popped into my mind about, oh man, like I'm not in sync this time. It's just the meme popping into my mind, how I feel about this, because so it made me go look at 2:23, right? And it just went beautifully with the whole thing that's happening here. Anyways, but and typically I usually go to a different site for these meanings, but the first thing that popped up applied, and I was just like, okay. I say angel number 223, express yourself more. Angel number 223 indicates that you have the possibility to become successful if you are willing to change your mindset. Basically, the confidence you have will allow you to become successful. On the other hand, you have to be teaching others the right route of becoming successful. More so, you have to be doing things that will make your reality motivate someone else. Equally, you have the opportunity to find a way to win, right? Which is, and then it says things you should know about 223 is that you will need to make decisions in your life that will take you through to your destination. Besides, this is the perfect moment to change your life. More so, you have to act like a winner to become one, right? Notably, how you respond to stuff in life will determine where you will achieve in the future. And I was like, wow, right? Because it went into like think about, because when I was pulling from the shadows, because whenever I got the shadows in the mirrors, stuck, the tarot, it's about illuminating that which is shadowy or toxic in some kind of way. It doesn't have to be those things, but it's just like what's an obstruction, what's a blockage, what needs to be addressed at this time, what needs to be shown, what needs to be seen, what needs to be illuminated, what needs to be walked through. I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I fear no evil. Let me walk through that which is coming up so that I can know what's up and I can, better be hello in my influential energy that is alchemy, you know what I'm saying? So when I was shuffling the decks and just, doing my own little stuff here and other things, what was in mind was like, okay, what can be highlighted at this time that will be helpful to those that do tune in, tap in, turn on, right? That can help illuminate for them during their now space that any kind of information or perception being dissected or revealed or concealed, not concealed, unveiled, like that could be a blind spot for them too, or something that you're working on now anyways, or just bringing in to highlight something more so that you can process more and evolve more and help yourself better, because not everything is simple, not everything is so easy, and especially when you are the minority, right, in that which you are. It's not like you're receiving the guidance and support from this dominating system out there that is here like, hey, come here, let me put you under my wing, like the doggy dog world, right? But again, mindset, right, about certain kind of things. You can keep saying it's a doggy dog world, cruel world, but what are you? I'm not cruel. I'm not a doggy dog world. I'm not out there to freaking. So no, it's not like that. That's where you count. The fact that you are not like that and you are working on you and your evolution of you to be the best version of you, to operate from your most highest of potentials and all these kinds of great, wonderful things, you're an anomaly. You are not what you're complaining about. So why is it like a finality, like a law in your language, vocabulary, speech, right? This mindset, right? You're transforming through your conditioning by identifying, addressing, showing up for yourself, understanding for your overstanding, and you're creating your own experiences consciously, as conscious as you can be at this moment in time. If you're here, you're very conscious, no matter how hard you want to be on your fucking self. I'm a tough cookie. I have been hella hard on myself. So before anybody would ever be like, oh, you should be mindful about how you like say something, these things that we work on ourselves and our lives based off of our experiences with people. And, I want to learn. I don't want to be ignorant and I don't want to be arrogant either. I'm very empathetic and sympathetic and compassionate. I'm a feeling being. I feel you most of the time. Like that's been part of my conditioning. feeling things that people have numbed themselves to and feeling it for them, and then being that pacifier. I don't want a bubble in my mouth. Pacifier. I don't want to pacify anything, right? So anyway, so the cards that were pulled are just highlights into what you can look into in your now, in the same moments, and further expand on, so that you don't self-sabotage and you don't get caught up in a blind spot during these challenging times, because you are the unique one, the anomaly, the you know, like I don't want to keep, I hate labels, like I said. I don't like all these kind of definitions, because a lot of, I don't mind it for me, because I understand it from my intellectual understanding at this point in time, which too can grow, change, and be something different another kind of day. But I'm understanding definitions at this time to know that I'm not holding anything as law in its definition, understanding evolution. I'm conscious of that, though. Most people only know that which they have been told, taught, and learned, and so they don't think past that. They just accept what they hear, because it computes, my dear. And it's like, oh, okay, 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 okay. You know, I don't do that. We don't do that here. We don't do that here. And I'm very patient. I'm learning to be patient with this whole process without feeling behind or inadequate or not up to par, or where I feel I think I should be. We are multidimensional beings, and we are where we are supposed to be at this moment in time of that which we have created for ourselves. And so therefore, where else would you be? Right? So either way, so right. So the cards that came up from the shadows was vulgar magic and Orpheus. Sorry, I read it and I already lost it, so it's like the first time. And then the other one was black flower fragrance, right? Oh, and then before I even go there, the number was 223, and then I hit a random song. And then the random song that I hit, I don't know. I don't know the rules. I don't know how it works. I don't want to like ruin a whole video for, whatever. I'll play a little excerpt. But I did look up the lyrics. Oh, Father, tell me, do we get what we deserve? Whoa, we get what we deserve. It's like the epiphany. You ask the question, knock and the door shall open. Ask and ye shall receive. And if you're in that kind of alignment of alchemy, then it's so wonderful to experience in terms of that concept of solidifying that into your being. Sometimes, the mental preparations that we have to prepare ourselves with in our own unconditioning is by being consistent with that which we are creating for our mental mentality and in the way that we think and how we're going to operate and stuff like that. So we got to be intentional and purposeful with some of the things that we are engaging with and allowing ourselves to be around. You know what I'm saying? So like, to like the really solidifying, like, you know, I always tell people meditate on things and keep further expanding in your own understanding, overstanding of whatever it is that you are being asked or guided to meditate on, because it's being brought up for you for a reason. So one of the big ones for me, since, you know, like my background, I say, like how, you know, my family, I'm raised Catholicism in every kind of way, so I had to perform certain Catholicism acts, and so, like, you know, church was in a thing and growing up and stuff like that, and then, you know, my travelings with other denominations and things like that, and exploring, you know, different church denominations and things like that, but still Catholicism I had to do, and all these kind of trainings and all these kind of things too, right? So since then, the whole knock and the door shall open, ask and ye shall receive has always been a major like meditation for me. Like I wanted to really grasp that. Knock and the door shall open. Ask and ye shall receive. Which further, like, you know, evolutionizes, I mean, and just even just grasping that. Like, oh my gosh. All we need is the question. Oftentimes when we don't knock and ask and all these deliberations and all this kind of stuff, is because we don't have the right question to ask. And sometimes we don't even see that we need to knock. Like, you know, and so it just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. So like I just heard that like in the comment, like, oh Father, tell me, do we get what we deserve? No, we get what we deserve. Then he got an instant fucking answer. Instant. And I love that confirmation. Right? Like when you pose the right question. Now, part of the development of your own trust in your intuition is to trust your intuition. And oftentimes we learn the hard ways in that. And like, I should have just listened to myself. Like, you know, I felt that I knew it, and I still, like, you know, want to be some other type of way, or I don't freaking know. Like, you know, hard-headed syndromes be our days. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then to have multiple experiences like that, where it's like, oh, I knew that, like, you know, whatever. And then now you're in a different space of your evolution, where you're just like, I trust. It's a development. You have to uncondition a lot of other shit that has been put into your system, and that requires an effort from you. And if you're giving the effort, no matter the percentage of your effort, pray. And if you want to do off the comparison and all this kind of stuff, most of these mofos ain't doing none of that. They're not. And once you start really noticing that too, and seeing, even if they pretend to be, I'm even realizing that like the levelings of spirituality that is like a trend at this moment in time, like where people are like woke to and saying all this stuff, and then it's just going to you listen to their conversation, listen to what they are speaking of. Superficial. Be the wave. And I'm not knocking in any kind of way. Whatever brings you to wherever it brings you to. Whatever brings you closer. Everybody's time, space, and learning program is different. But if you hear, you are deep, deep, deep soul. No matter the reason for you being here. Even if it's just to be nosy. Even if it's for whatever you're here for. Okay. I'm not in competition with you. Even if you were in competition with me, like, fuck out of here with that bullshit. You need to build up your self-esteem, sense of self-value and love and worth. I do. So then what the fuck is your problem? Check that me, right? So, right. So it's this mindset. Wait, let me go back to the phone. And way down we go. Way down we go. Say, way down we go. Way down we go. You let your feet run wild. And as come as we all go down. Yeah, but for the fall, oh my. Do you dare to look him right in the eyes? Yeah. Oh, because they will run you down till the dark. Yes, and they will run you down till you fall. And they will run you down till you go. Yes, so you can't crawl no more. And way down we go. Way down we go. Hey, way down we go. Oh, because they will run you down till you fall. Way down we go. Right, so, mindset, right? And then the first one that I looked at was the vulgar magic, right? Vulgar magic does not require any special expertise. It is rather simple and essentially involves love spells and magic acts aimed at reciprocity. Vulgar magic uses the power and properties of plants to produce different drugs, infusions, and many other things. In addition to plants, minerals, and precious stones, can also serve as amulets and talismans, like the ones I make. Everything that I create when I put herbal concoctions together and stuff like that, it's always after waking up from a dream sequence that has told me what ingredients to use. And then after I do everything that I do obediently and stuff like that, then I look it all up, and learn, even though it's a challenging experience, learning experience while doing it and intuitively receiving the meaning behind a lot of things. Then after I get the pleasure of learning more about it from the 3D land that coincides with that which I have received intuitively, which confirms for me the authenticity of the intuition received, because it was founded upon that which didn't seek external for its validation or information. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's levels to this shit. So, vulgar magic considers the mandrake to be its most powerful plant. Interestingly, the mandrake root resembles the lower part of the human body. The magic features attributed to the mandrake are extremely versatile. In response to all questions during divination, keeps the enemy at a distance and promotes fertility in sterile women. Additionally, it treats gout, insomnia, and several other diseases. It is used in magic as a love potion for love spells. Card meaning: fuss, trouble, ignorance, a caricature of inner strength, quick quackery, a love spell, minor trouble, vanity, proclivity towards levity, and oversimplification, right? And then we had Orpheus, right? Relax your hormones. The story of Orpheus and Eurydice. I don't know how to say it, so that's the way I'm going to say it, okay? Eurydice. I don't want to say it like that. Eurydice. So I'm going to say Eurydice. I don't care if it's Eurydice. The luck. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing the rune, the lot rune. It looks like happy baby pose in yoga. Legs up on your back, arm, like you're on your back, your legs are up, and you're grabbing your feet, and you're like a baby, like when babies grab their feet. I don't know. I can't describe it right now, but whatever. Anyways, what was the whole point of that? Oh, because it's the lot rune. It's the rune of luck. Like it's an unknown rune of fate that can go. You create. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of fate, and that's what I'm saying. And so Um, a lot. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 4, so 4 and 8. 4 and 8, and this is 16, which is 7. 4, 7, 8. Okay, sorry. The story of Orpheus and Eurydice is one of the most tragic episodes in Greek mythology, and it has inspired such great epic poets as Virgil and Ovid. While fleeing from a satyr who attacked her, Eurydice fell into a well of poisonous vipers and suffered a fatal bite on her heel. Full of sorrow and despair, Orpheus seeks an audience with Hades and Persephone, rulers of the underworld. Such was the beauty of his music that they agreed to let Eurydice return with him to Earth on one condition. He should walk in front of her and not look back until they both had reached the upper world. But betrayed by his anxiety, Orpheus turned his head to get a glimpse on Eurydice before they both reached the upper world. Alas, Eurydice vanished into the world of the dead forever. So that self-sabotaging behavior of anxiety, right? Betrayed by his own anxiety. Mindset, okay? Mindset. We're going to get back to that. Before they both reached the upper world, and she vanished. This consolate Orpheus was wandering aimlessly through the land, unable to forget his one true love. For Eurydice was a lot more than just a lover. Below is an adaptation of what Orpheus said to one of his disciples moments before his death. This name given to me by her soul transformed my whole being. I felt the infinite desire and the power of superhuman love that entered me. Alive, Eurydice could give me the bliss of happiness, but dead, Eurydice led me to the truth. Out of love for her, I put on linen garments and pursued an aesthetic life. Out of love for her, I penetrated the mysteries of magic and the depths of divine science. For the love of her, I went through the caves of Samothrace, through the walls of the pyramids, and through the sepulchres of Egypt. I penetrated the interior of the earth to find life in it. The earth opened its abyss before me, and the sky revealed its flaming temples. I obtained the secret sciences from under the veils of mummies. The priests of Isis and Osiris revealed their secrets to me. They had only their god, but I had Eros. By his power, I entered the mysteries of Hermes and Zoroaster's words. By his power, I spoke the words of Jupiter and Apollo. Musical talent, gifts from God, true love and caring, impatience, vanity, pride, longing, anxious waiting, a long journey for educational purposes, elegant personality, enchantment, right? The card. And then we have black flower fragrance, right? So even just in this, right? I wanna give me a second. Right. Right. So I just feel like with the energies, right, with these two cards right here, right, it's speaking about the mindset, right? Coming from that which is vulgar magic, right? Conditioning. A conditioning in your environment that has set you into movement. And unbeknownst to you, you created this whole like character, right? Of how you were taught, from how you were taught, and how you would apply what you have been taught in your own conditioned vessel, right? That may have caused trouble, may have created minor trouble, right? Vanity, proclivity, right? Overly distorting your reality with falsified perceptions. That makes sense, right? And self-sabotaging and allowing many things to exist in your etheric energy field because of your conditioning that you are oblivious to its impact, right, upon you. And now, right, oh, you're in this now space of you have put in a lot of work, right? It doesn't eliminate everything though, right? No, of course not. That would be too easy. Right? And here you are, right, in this space now that is like the mandrake, right? Beneficial to you if you use it. So that's part of the learning curve that's happening, right? Right, like the blending and the infusions of the layers without rejecting any of the layers too, because then that will become conflict if you do. To like how Orpheus honored the woman that he loved, that he lost, that was painful, fucking painful. And if you've ever lost anybody that you love, you know that shit is painful. No amount of words consoling and condolences, like suck it with your condolence, right? The human perception of the reality of the pain, the blow of losing someone that you love. And to find the beauty, the lesson, the power, the influence from that, which was dark, which was unpleasant, which required healing. To profess before his dying, like before his on his deathbed, saying it was because of her, the loss of her. Yes, in this universe, yes, she brought me happiness, and I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that. But in losing her, I gained so much too. Not that it makes it right. Notice that in none of his speech did he justify the loss. No. He only expressed the gains mindset. It's an act that creates the act of wisdom by you in an environment that might not be the best, right? But you're making the best of it. And so I'm a big advocate on watching your more fudgin language, right? If you need help with that, you gotta request that. It's not even up on my services, but it's something I do for over 20 years too. It's very beneficial to those who put in the work of traveling that route, because it's not the easiest, especially in the beginning. Because in the beginning, you're so conditioned to reacting, and part of the practice is shutting fuck up, not reacting at all, because you don't know how to in a healthy way. And it's not that you're punishing yourself, denying yourself, or not taking care of it. No, you are containing it because you are in the process of learning how to deal with that. And until, because you're acting in wisdom, you get to that space of solution that creates the wise one in you to behave in such a way, then go ahead, travel that way. But communication is it's a tough one, especially when it's your language. I literally find words that I will no longer say. I have these moments every year. There's a word I'm not saying that. I don't like the way that it is, and right now I'm never gonna say handicap. If you watch the other videos, stay in the loop. Okay, you'll see why too. I will not ever use that word again because it's offensive and it's limiting and it's a casting of stones. I didn't like that definition. I gotta read all the definitions from other. But until then, until I find the peace with that word, or find my appropriate word, I ain't saying that word. Like blessings, I don't say that. Although I find myself in this state of being sometimes having to say that word, but it's conscious, so I'm aware, right? So it's not the same as just saying that word loosely and ignorantly. Because the etymology of that word is not, the definition that you think you understand and the etymology of that word don't add up. So what are we saying? Yeah, I get that serious with words. Language is my forte. English language, and the one I speak, that's my own language. Yeah. Animals get it. Babies too. Right. So this space that you're in is like a transitionary period, right? Of adapting to that which you have evolved into up until this point. And so the vulgar magic, we're gonna just put it in a box of like your conditioning, your behaviors, your patterns, certain things might come up, feelings about how like you're coming into terms with this life that you have accepted and have experienced up until this point. Can get anybody angry too, right? And the whole shifting that's happening here is not to get angry about the injustices to you anymore, right? It's healing through that which you feel broken from or trapped in or unable to get past. You know what I'm saying? But that's the vulgar magic, the conditioning side of you that has trained you to view from that bird's eye view. That's not a bird's eye view. It's a conditioning instilled that creates the confusion. And why is it confusing? Because the part of you that's not understanding your inner, there's a feeling that comes up from not understanding your inner that you experience on the outer. And you can say that's anxiety or like, I'm nervous, I'm this, I'm stressed, it can show up in your external in a way that has to exert itself in that kind of way. Right. And so, what was I saying? It's because I have to, hold on, I'll be right back. So, So it's like you're in this new space and there's so much opportunity. Or you could be given this opportunity in this new space that's different from your old space. And what is being asked of you, or what is needed of you, is the alchemy behavior in this new space. Even if you're challenged by it mentally, because it's coming up for you, the unhealed aspect that wants to be addressed, wants to find a solution. But part of a lot of conditioning is avoiding many things because it don't feel good. It's too much to deal with. Nah, no thank you. I don't want to go there. I don't want to be accountable. I don't want to be responsible. I don't, so I let's like breathe in love, self-love at this time. Knowing the kind of levelings of deep sea dives and work we're really doing here. Like, be impressed with your devotion to your own healing, evolution, growth, transformation, whatever that be. Right? And realizing that you have grown so much, and so that it's impossible unless you just conform. But it's impossible to see and then unsee. Yet that happens, right? And the only reason that ever happens for anybody is because they see, but they do nothing about it. And so what dominating conditioned behavioral patterns and way of being will surface and dominate again that which one is comfortable in, used to. And so it's easy to go back, sleep that way. But they're always aware of their lack of effort, right? It's just like being conscious and knowing that you have to clean your room and you don't do it. And then, although you're still aligned and in your full alchemy and doing what you have to do, in the back of your mind is like, I gotta clean my room, As simplified as I can put it, like in terms of that. Or it could be something as you're being given a new opportunity to be the leader of something, to show your expertise in some kind of way, and then because you worked to get to this point and stuff like that, the opportunity that's here, unknown territory comes up, because and then any kind of trigger that this will trigger within you, the unhealed aspects of you that are going to come up, it's not to damage you. That would be the old way of viewing something that comes in to challenge you, right? Like even repeating the same kind of storyline, right? Like, oh, people are out to get me. Oh, this always happens. Oh, will I ever catch a break? Um, just life is so unfair. I'm just sick of this shit. Um, like when is it when I get it, like, it's just this leveling of impatience with divine timing, that if we just get to the root of that, right, if you're being impatient about something, it's because a part of you is um now questioning that something and not believing in that something too, that causes you to doubt and question again. That would be like when I was younger, this is called smart ass, right? Because I, like, like I said, like growing up in the church, like having to do certain kind of, duties, to fulfill certain kind of duties for the denomination that I was being brought up in. And I just couldn't understand why. But I understand it from a respected place now of having life experience, and my view is not the same, but I'm glad that that view was for me at that time, because I see it now, years later, what evolution that created within me, because I never let that go. In terms of like, where's your belief? Like my argument would be with people, it's like, you talk about this God, you talk about this faith that you have, this Bible, you want to spit at me some verses, you want to judge and all this kind of hypocrisy, these lines you spit into me, but I'm looking at your heart right now, and I'm looking at your actions, I'm looking at all these things that you're doing, and you're not. I'm like, what are you telling me, like, about this, right? And then why your faith has you coming back asking the same fucking thing? Well, how dare you say something like that? Why, if you're so faithful, you asking for it again? Isn't that your faith, your God, your this? And it's not being disrespectful, right? But as a young girl, that was, you get what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, so oppression comes from that too, because when you see that that's just something you just can't do, like people are not ready for that conversation, right? Like, you cool it down, but like again, it created a deep sea dive for me. Like, wait a minute, when to question even that which I proclaim to be true or fact for me, or belief and stuff like that. Where does this come from? And is this how I really feel? Is this really real? Like, that has always been one of my strongest questions too. Is this, what's really real? I want to know what's real. What's real? And that has taken me on another deep sea dive. Like, what's real? Oh, shit. What is this? Still. Right? So we could do all these kind of things. But anyways, like, anyways. I forgot what I was saying. Relax. Listen, this is the way that it be. It's so much like, right, right. But either way, like, going to the point of, like, the important message for you to grasp and meditate further on in your own personal lens, and take with it as you grow. Like, know that this is infinite too, mana, for you to continue to further expand with on. Like, don't stay stuck with wherever I left you. Let that shit grow too for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't stay stuck where I'm at, or where you think I'm at. I'm not gonna be here anymore. Like, I continue my evolutionary revolutionary growth and flow and whatever. Like that's why I don't recall things I say and like and channel and do like it's evolution, boo. Like bye, I'm not even here anymore. I'm in my now space at that now moment, and it wasn't unless it's for educational purposes and stuff like that too. But right, so point. Don't seek like in this now space that you're in, no matter where you are, no matter what level you be, no matter what everybody's different. You know what I mean? I'm not here to go into that detailing. That's for you. Now we keep it over there. I'm only focused on mine and those that pay me for my time to focus on theirs, like that kind of thing. Like, which is beautiful too. Like, I'm not speaking like like stay focused on you, right? Like if it's not paying you, pleasing you, loving you, taking care of you, providing for you, it's none of your business, right? At all, at all, no matter who it is. No matter who it is, no matter how juicy it might be that you want to know, or how like deep sea dive you want to take a dive into that kind of thing. Like if it's not gonna serve you and that which you have found in your truth, if it doesn't serve your truth, what the fuck are you playing with it for? Right? So right, what was I saying? Point. I was making place. Time is up. 4 after 4. Okay, let me get going. Okay, so point. Hey, so we're growing, we're evolving. I was making a point. That one went down that rabbit hole too. Right. Whatever. Like no matter what level you're on in your own evolution and stuff like that, make it your business to self-question yourself before every move. Granted, that could be annoying. Granted, that could that doesn't serve your now time. Like I need to act fast, I need to do fast, I need to do this. Like I'm working, I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah. I don't got time for all this mental chess play with myself. Well, then you don't want it. Okay. See you whenever you're ready. Wish you the best. But most people don't want to say that. Oh, why are you saying it like that? It's not that. It's that. Excuses. My daughter gets mad at me with this kind of stuff. Like, like she'll be like, I'm not making excuses, like in terms of like if I say something like direct like that and I'm not being offensive, I'm just being real. Right. And then like the only time I'm ever like cold in that is if you're making an excuse towards me of why you didn't do something that we agreed upon that you want to do. I don't want to hear your excuse. Oh, why you talk like that? Why you say something like that? Because I don't want to hear your excuse. I just want it done. So, and that can seem cool, like, well, what the fuck? Well, listen, I just want it done. Period. Right? And that's just, we spoke about it, we agreed upon it, it should be done. I don't want to hear the excuse. Right? So chocolate clearing. Right? So, there's a lot of information. Sometimes. I just remembered too, to tell you about that was what brought up me bringing up how wordsmithy I can be. Like seriously, like dictionary and thesaurus were my like best friends growing up. I love words and I make up a lot of words. I naturally do it. I'm like, whoever said there was supposed to be a end table, a last page to a dictionary. Like, if we humans are coining terms and meanings of words and all this kind of stuff, why did it ever have to stop? Like, why were who determined that words were supposed to be stopped? Like, if we're transforming and we're evolutionizing and we are being something new, then new words are needed too, because that's a new definition for the new that's here that your old cannot explain. So that's kind of like the energy of this too, like this reminder too, like this getting out of our own ways by acknowledging the way that it has been, like, and just accepting it for what it is. A lot of the challenge too for a lot of people too is that in transmuting, a lot of the shadow work energy too requires you to be in the emotion of it too, and that's part of the development, because in the emotion of it is part of where the brokenness has stayed. Like, I'll just give it as an example. Like, before I was able to speak of my mom without being emotional and crying, she was banned from being spoken about until I can get there at that time. So I didn't speak about her because I knew that it was an emotional trigger for me that caused me to go to a place of feeling that I didn't want to be in, right? And so, but when the time came that I was ready to be in that space, right? Because my mindset has grown, evolved, changed, and is now prepared for this growth of dealing with the death of my mother that happened years ago. But now I'm in the mental capacity and space and headspace game to approach it in a new kind of way, because knock and the door shall open, ask and you shall receive. Like, the more that you evolve and the more that you grow into your truth and authenticity too, the more the right questions are going to formulate for you that once upon a time, like, it's fascinating to experience simple questions being now raised that you're like, why didn't I ask this question before? Like, because it'll be the most simplest of things. And then because of our conditioning of how things are not that simple, things are not that easy, like, and everything always comes with like this challenge. When something simple presents itself, like, as like, wow, that's it. Like, I'm like, wow, really? Okay. It's harder to accept, right? It's harder to accept. And it's just, so in this enlightenment period of being conscious, this is where it takes a little extra effort from you, right? To acknowledge the space that you're now in and address it accordingly. But whatever the case may be. So, like, until one's ready to go there, like, in the dealings with uncomfortable feelings that can bring one through not so great place to be, right? What was the whole point of that? What the fuck is any of us saying? We make up shit as we go along and then something sticks. But that's the thing. As an evolutionist. Oh, vulgar too, thank you. I went to look up the definition of vulgar. Remember, way down we go. Okay. No. Vulgar. Because this is vulgar magic, right? Lacking sophistication or good taste, unrefined, making explicit and offensive reference to sex or bodily functions, coarse and rude, okay, characteristic of or belonging to the masses. What does vulgar mean? Lacking in cultivation, perception, or taste. Coarse, morally crude, undeveloped, unregenerate, gross, ostentatious, or excessive in expenditure or display, pretentious. Right, the definition of vulgar is something that is coarse, that is in poor taste, that lacks in sophistication, that is rude or unrefined, or that is associated with the masses. An example of vulgar is a very showy demonstration of wealth. An example of vulgar is a very tacky outfit. An example of vulgar is a dirty joke. Well, I could then be vulgar. Or my perversion. Okay, so oh no. But vulgar. So vulgar magic. And then we entering the lesson of the Orpheus, right? With the gratitude towards what has been gained from that which was lost, perspective, right? Mindset, and then if you think about the overall accomplishments that were obtained, because like it's like that whole, and then this is even bringing up, like, it's like the mindset. It's like the mindset. Oh, okay, like the mindset of you can only have one or the other. Love. You can only focus more on either love or your career, like in terms of love and career, unless you meet someone that you're both on the like, and as romanticized as that can be, and as possible as it can be, we're creating the futures of these kind of dynamics, right? With our actions and our choices and our experiences and our wisdom. And I think that we teach our fucking children. Eat the fucking manna. Okay? Because this ain't about you. For the ones that want it to be about them. It's about your kids and what you're creating here in this 3D plane of existence that you're going to keep cycling about and around and around and on until you learn your motherfucking song, okay? It's like, I just join. I'm this motherfucker life. I learned every motherfucker lesson I need to learn because I don't want to be here. So let me just learn. Let me just cooperate. Let me just be a cooperative component in this whole motherfucker shit because I'm done with this shit, right? And then you got mofos saying the same thing. Like, I'm done with this, but then I'm learning the lessons. So no, you're not. You coming back, okay? We don't do that in this channel. We find humor in it. Hello. That's my microphone. And we transmute that bitch with wisdom and application, okay? And no matter how slow you want to turtle race your thing, there is no more fudgin race. You can stand in a tiptoe for 5 hours before you make your next move. Stay there then. But at least you're moving. At least you're growing. At least you're evolving. Right? Start taking the gains of it all through your intelligence to see, let me be a little bit more worthy of me and all the things that I do that I keep crying to. I want you to see all that I do. I want you to acknowledge me too. I want you to see the work that I put in. I need you to tell me that I'm doing a good job. I need you to tell me that you see me and what I do and acknowledge and accept me too. But you got a world that's cool, right? Here we go. Mindset. You can't be in this new space that you have created and then call this world so cruel. I know. I know. It's not easy. Especially when you're dealing with mofos on the side that's proven to be like that other definition from your old life that you're like, okay. But this mofos don't want to try, and I'm over here on this evolutionary high, but I'm supposed to, what, like, ignore you? Like, I'm standing up for me now. How do I ignore that which is blatantly right here in my face? Like, you want to get punched in your face? Like, what's up here? Like, you want to be fight? Right? And you're like, no, we're not. I'm peace. Peace, kumbaya. Stop trying to trigger me. Humor be my keys. I'd rather do all of that than fuck up my alignment. I'd rather be silly. So, we can think about things that we would rather be. Like, one of the wonderful things, like, I go on live with Manifestation Maven on my Instagram for the Asking is Given, the Jerry Hicks following the April. I don't even know. Right? Asking is Given book. Okay? That book that we've been reading since last year. Okay? Manifestation Maven is an awesome, awesome, wonderful, beautiful soul that you should go check out too and follow too and find your resonance with her too as well in terms of, feeling and feeling and healing and growing and stuff like that. Anyways, that's not about that. But we talk about that a lot, like in regards to, all right, like we're covering the chapters in the book, but covering the chapters in the book is like pretty much just practical magic kind of information that, like, if you just listen to it, like, and allow your intellect to just like process the information as being gifted to you at this time. Okay, apply them at this time. Okay, it's one thing to know things, but it's another thing to apply things, and it's another thing to, like, act in what you think and stuff like that, and how you choose to grow. Like, what seeds do you choose to breed and seed, like, and germinate all over these lands? Like, it's up to you, man. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, people want to persecute, let's say, the old you, and that could be a hang up too at this time, right? It's like, stop. Like, like, but it also could be a conditioned conspiracy because of the experience, the trauma, the PTSD that can trigger also the paranoia. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think about that, like, in my own understanding of my yeah, my contish. Oh my god. In my own conditioning, right? I'm well aware to know that in regards to external energies that might come in and want to, like, trigger or something like that, that I have created a system, like, or, persons, or, it's just in my own discernment. Like, I have to have my own external safe place that I can go to with that emotional trigger where I can receive the guidance too that is helpful for me, because I'm well aware that I can get caught up in my own emotions, and understanding too that I pick up on others' emotions, and how before, once upon a time ago, absentee the human was to many of these kind of things, that I was taking on a lot of extra energies that may not even be me, but falsely murderer syndrome in some kind of way. I took it on anyways. You know what I'm saying? And so, although that does not apply today, it doesn't mean that the window of opportunity doesn't still exist. I'm just more conscious and aware of it. Doesn't mean that it doesn't happen anymore. You understand? And so that too took time to sink in. So when it would still happen, but now I'm applying the solution from my now healthy perspective into this situation, I know that my behavior is breeding and seeding that which is awesome in every kind of degree, that I'm gonna allow for it to be this infinite seed of surprise for me that is in abundance and prosperity, because I sow the seed of breed that is the alchemy that is authentic to that of which is now, and I will see, but I'm in my presence now and honoring the space that I'm creating for these future dates. And I'm not gonna get trapped in that illusion of which is projecting itself onto me, that wants me to see the same thing, because I'm creating something different. I don't need to see the same thing as you when I'm creating something different. Thank you for wanting me to see the same thing as you. I understand what you're saying, but my boundary is here, because I'm creating something different for myself. And this is like the power that you're having for yourself at this now, at this time now, right? Like, I stand up for myself, I speak up for myself, I do for myself, and I understand my power, my self empowerment. It's not an entitlement, it's my empowerment, it's my knowing power, it's my space that I've created, that I've worked on in every kind of way. But now we're working on the defensive mode, the offensive mode, because that still too is in the conditioned mode of energies that were conditioned onto you. So, even though you remove yourself from one layer of the system, we're multidimensional beings on this multidimensional planet that has many multidimensional layers, and depending on your multidimensional like system and journey and story, it's gonna be different for all of us. So there's layers to these shit, intense layers. So to proceed without caution would be to be ignorant and foolish, like the way that once upon a time, in your ignorance, you didn't realize and know, and to still allow for that kind of absentee behavior to take part of your life when you're consciously intelligent to know why that had occurred once upon a time. So now you are the maker, creator, powerhouse in your own vessel, to now shift that for yourself by applying that which must be changed. And then some people will be complacent. I'm just lazy. That's another battling of conditioning. The language that we speak unto ourselves, you're not lazy. You're just not putting in any effort. I used to get so offended when I was a little girl, because my grandmother always called me lazy. Because for her, being domesticated and cleaning the house and wanting to clean the house and wanting to organize the house and wanting to like, mind you, she's the reason why I'm OCD when I do clean. In terms of how I clean, and everything is disposable. Like, I don't even want a sponge the same. You understand? Like, I throw everything away, like paper towels, wipies, and all that kind of stuff. And everything is disposable, and we don't save. There's no like mops you save, but there's no storage of germs up in here. I am a big science buff. I've spoken about this before in probably like really old videos in like 2016 or so. Like my science fun majors, like, especially like when I had taken microbiology and I became Inspector Gadget for everything. When I saw the stuff that was underneath those microscopes, from all the petri dishes, the fucking samples that I took from everywhere, germaphobe was born. I said nothing. If I did, it was as minimal as could be. I'm even I'm stationed in New York City for a very long time, and so I'm very rehearsed with public transportation and the trains and stuff like that. I rode the train and I didn't touch or sit. And I always found my place to stand. And it was all about balance, man. Talk about core exercise. Like, not even the pole. People look at me and watch, like, because of my balance. It was like riding a surfboard. That's what I imagined the whole time. I was riding my surfboard on the train. Because you know how New York City trains, like, be, like, all of a sudden jolt. I'm not saying I've never touched anything. But, like the whole time I would be on, like, I wasn't sitting or touching anything unless I absolutely had to. For the whole duration. Again, that came from high school because of microbiology. Okay, so thank my microbiology class for making me excessive like that. That even when my daughter was born and toddler years, like, if we want to talk about anal, like, yeah, granted, I was a loving mom, doting mom. She had a great, like, I'm great, like she can't like, like we understand, like she's lucky. But when we were out and about, and let's say she ever like, it was already like kind of like an unspoken thing, like please let's not ever use the public bathroom, like ever. So let's make sure we take care of, like, before we go anywhere and stuff like that. So, but she's a little girl, and there's times that they have to use the bathroom. But like my, like, don't touch anything, and I would like do everything like with a lift, like like whatever, like we flush the toilet with our feet, like our shoe, like what I mean, like don't touch nothing, like open the door with the elbow, like tissue. Like so like when I look at her now, and she's like even more so than I am at this time, right? In terms of like yuckiness and stuff, and then like I just well, and I think about that, like whatever, that's great. Before COVID happened, my daughter was talking about how she wanted this side of our world, because she was talking about, I don't know if it was China, Japan, or something, like the Asian culture, they wear masks everywhere. She's like, it would be so awesome. She wanted us all to wear masks. I remember when this all hit and we had masks for mandate. I was like, you did this shit. You can talk about fucking masks. Talk about you want masks. Everybody to be masked because everybody's so germy. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry that happens. Okay. But anyways, we live and we learn. Hold on. Hold on. So yeah, it's just a lot of information, right? But like, I don't even know where I was. I'm just gonna continue where around B, okay? And if you stay in the loop, you'll get it all. So mono, you know. Um, but like if in our consciousness, right? It's like going back to that, like you can't unsee what you see. For me, that would be always the full blown like reality. Like before, when I used to receive intuitive promptings, right, about people and what they were doing, and I would suspect, but I would let fly by because we don't want to be negative. I don't want to be negative, and then only for time to reveal that you were motherfucking right. And this happens over and over, and depending on your stubbornness and depending on how deep you go and what kind of situations you tie yourself to, and the challenge will be different for everybody, right? But now you get to this point and the time will be different for everybody, where you're like, I'm always right. And it's not ego, but the leveling of depth of what you're talking about here in terms of whatever it is that you're having the epiphany about. Like every single time, from up until from when it first started happening, from when I was little to now, it's always been accurate. Even when I've given the benefit of the doubt, even if I've, whatever the case may be. And then you go through a lot of shit because you didn't listen to that leveling of intuition deep. And then victim gets played out in energy, whether everybody's relationship with feeling like a victim of something is different, even if this is not a comparison of what one has been subjected to. Victim has nothing to do with the amount of um, things that were subjected. Like one victim does not um, one victim's like situation and stuff like that does not is not worse or more severe. Like, you know, even if it can appear that way, and even though the experience can be like, once you're in that energy, doesn't matter what the fuck was done to you, it was a violation, period. So they're sitting here and say, oh, but that person's violation was far worse. Did you see? Blah, 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 blah. Fuck you. My pain is just as severe. And I have every right to fucking feel this violation. Like, you know, in terms of like things like that, right? And so I will never push aside someone's experience and say this one was worse than the other. You were hurt, you were feeling pain, you're both the same. It's an energy, right? As like, you know, experience, but the leveling of the leveling of personalization and and attention one gives to the unfortunate circumstances, right, that makes them and that have to experience that energy. It's going to be different for everybody, right? And sometimes, you know, even if you were to say, oh, but realistically, the reason why this person was able to heal faster than this person was because look at the severity of their thing. That's just the fact that it's even being brought up, like in that kind of ignorant, like the fact that it's even a topic of conversation is just why this world is so fucked up. You understand? For it to be a subject of debate, like it's just ridiculous. Like, why do I have to explain this to you right now? Like, it's just like a waste of my breath, like a waste of air. So I won't, right? But you have to get to that space first because many of the times, like, especially if you're in that position, you have a justice that you feel entitled to receive. And if it has not been received, there's no contentment there. So it's hard to push past that, right? Another powerful quote that was monumental for my own evolution is what was that quote? Right. Or just the concept that learning to forgive people, circumstances, experiences, situations without an apology or any kind of justice being brought to you that you damn well deserve. We're not arguing that. No, you deserve. That's not the argument. But when you're in pain, that becomes the argument. But it falls on deaf ears because you don't got a willing or cooperative component working with you. And the only cooperative component that you can work with you in that regards to that kind of situation would be the person in the wrong, owning that shit and seeking your divine redemption, forgiveness, and there will be no mistake of that. Not even a narcissist could pull that off, especially if you're really honing in and owning your leveling of empathy and intuition. I had a narcissist, psychopath, freaking cry to me. Psycho. And oftentimes that's that's what the person has been waiting for this person to do, break down and cry. Oh my god, don't no, no. And that might be what you've been waiting to hear. That's how you want to be made to feel like, now you see how great I am to you and what I do for you. This music to my ears. Last, but the devil last. And he'll put on any disguise just to keep you in his life. And that's why sometimes it would be nice if we have somebody or support. Many oftentimes we don't. So does that create a block from doing that which we must because we don't want to go at it alone? Right? We're never alone, even when we are. But we're never alone. It's just like my theory of there's no such thing as silence. Have you ever sat in silence? There's noise. That was another argument that no adult was able to tell me the meaning of. And who were the first babies? And how did the first babies care for themselves without a host? They never have an answer. It's like, okay, I'm understanding. So who were the first babies? Point me in that direction. I want to start from there. Who were the first babies? Anyways, right. So like so this is that fork in the road. I talk about that on with Manifestation Maven too, and their Asking is Given live book club meetup that we have now once a month. We were doing it before, like kind of weekly or bi-weekly and stuff like that, like the end of last year. But we be busy alchemy, and she's from the UK and I'm from the USA, and there's a huge time gap in that too. And so to try to get our time schedules to work, it's a lot of work. And so, and consistent we've been to continuously continue until we finish this book and stuff like that. But our meetups are not consistent in terms of like days of the week or times of the week and things like that. Or, but we do it still. And you know, there's a lot of mana in there, and all those lives, I think there's been 12 or 13 of them. They're all on my Instagram live. I don't know the names of these things. What's that called? TV TV live series. It's called Ask and It's Given. There's loads of mana for your own evolution in terms of helping you have that practical magic and understanding. Again, it's just, you know, we're all geniuses and we're all worthy to be praised, and we all have something to offer this, all of us, right? We all have something to offer, all of us. Hey, so this is not competition. You got something to offer me too. I got something to offer you too. Okay? Who gets to convey it first? Who the fuck cares? Get to the leveling of evolution where you're conveying that which is in alignment and alchemy with you, and not the distorted view of you where you're creating a lot of toxic too. So, that's how I like to focus on here and stuff like that. What was the thing? What were we talking about? What time is it? Squirrel. Oh my god, it's only 5 o'clock. I need to get something because I have 10 o'clock. That's okay. I can nap at some point. I'll do it. Okay. So, what were we saying? Right. Okay. 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 So there's no comparisons in any kind of degree or decree. We're each all on different, evolutionary journeys, and we each have something to contribute to the whole. But it starts with the I. That is the part. That is the piece that contributes to the whole. So tend to your own part and piece, because only then will you be able to really truly be the cooperative component that is needed in energy that we all need. You know what I mean? So that's why I hope that, even though, I am intensious debubbler, okay, on this evolutionary revolutionary rise that is happening right now at this time, okay, babbler is deep, it's channeling experience, and it's not the easiest to consume, digest, ingest, comprehend too, because just as much as you can receive the instant epiphany download and stuff like that, it's just as fast as it can go too. Right after receiving it, it's like, I just had an epiphany, but I don't know where it went. It can be that kind of thing. And so grounding is important too, in all these kind of things that we do and stuff. But so again, with manifestation maven and I, like, there are many different kind of concepts, and there's so many different wisdoms that come up from many, because people participate too, and then they add their mana and stuff like that, which then sparks more mana to be expressed on the live videos, and which are available for you to see and stuff like that. But one of the things that has come up from many of our meets is that fork in the road experience. And that's how you can view everything. This is just simple. Like, you want to get into the complexities of things, but you got to break it down into the semantics of certain kind of things for you to get into the intelligence of because just think of it like this. Like, one of the things that I have, like, really truly learned about conditioning and behavioral patterns and all this kind of stuff is that how much I could just go into my own personalization of my own life, and as intelligent as I am, how stupid I can be in terms of, like, that's just, again, like, me not being nice to me at this moment in time, but that's not true. Like, it's, again, how do you feel in the environment that which makes you sick? It's a blind spot for you sometimes. So how do you expect yourself to see that which is damaging for you if that is all you ever known to be truth? And even though it's going against the inner resistance in you because something feels off or wrong, but still it takes, it doesn't, no, I don't want to do that either. I don't want to make someone feel insignificant, like, if only if I was smarter, if only I was, no, you are exactly where you need to be and how you are and all this kind of stuff. It's a challenge, and the fact that you're even here means that you've risen to that conditioned aspect that I'm talking about. Anyways, like, you see past that. So what are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? But children, you see, like we were children too, you know what I mean? And so the naivety of a lot of things we didn't see. Fuck that. Like it doesn't matter how genius, how intuitive, and how tapped in, turned on, tuned in. I was seeing spirits, ghosts, this, that, and dirt. That did not make me any smarter. That made me afraid. But in a distorted way, you know. So the forks in the road. Everything is a fork in the road. How you choose to proceed is a fork in the road. That's helpful. See, like, because if you think about, one of the things that I have learned about, and this doesn't just apply to me, but I'm gonna only use me as an example because I'm only gonna speak for myself. But I bear witness to this in 99.9% of the population in terms of in reactives and stuff like that. Gonna get through it. Relax. I'm learning here too. I'm learning to be patient and kind with myself because I do get very I don't care how calm, cool, collected I look on the outside and stuff like that. Like on the inside, I am highly in tune, sensitive mofo. Okay, and this is the part of me that I'm embracing with myself now and learning to just allow myself to not have to hide that either. Like if I'm feeling a certain type of way, just breathe, girl. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to put on a show or like, listen, I need a breather right now. I don't give a fuck if I was talking. If you're not with that, you can hop off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like I'm not here to go on your timetable. I'm only being myself, and I'm conveying very complex, like, things that, if you are here, well, hello, welcome. So, I'm learning to be kind to me and accepting of me as I am without explaining, although I am a YouTuber, an expressionist, an evolutionist, a motivational speaker, whatever the hell, teacher, coach, whatever, and all this kind of stuff, entertainer for your entertainment and all this kind of stuff. I'm not here to pretend to be something I'm not, So I needed a breather because I get overwhelmed. Especially when I start taking off, like, because then I start getting and not the self-conscious, but just my self-awareness, and which creates the self-conscious, and that's the part that we have to address and like, get through right now and stuff like that too. What was your thing? I gotta go. For like 2 fucking hours, but I don't even know. The forks in the road. Most people don't consider the whys behind they do what they do. They just do what they do and justify with whatever superficial understanding they have of why they do what they do. And it takes depth, and that's going to be different for everybody. And that has nothing to do with this current human lifespan. And that leveling of depth that one has in this perceived 3D reality stems from many lives, many masters, many realities, many evolutions that are beyond your human conception at this time. And so the arguments and the hate and the jealousy and the envy or the sabotage from others or the evil eye and all that kind of stuff, although it comes from the superficial reason, this shit goes really deep, right? And so it's going to be different for everybody. This is entertainment for your entertainment. Take with it as it resonates. Don't be making shit fit if it don't. And if anything goes over your head, and whatever the case may be, this is an alchemy breed of seed that is alchemizing all in agreement to the alchemy that is of the most wonderfulness of everything. Anyways, what was I saying? Okay. Time passed. Lord knows where I last left off. But either way, I gotta start wrapping this up anyways because it's really late and I'm gonna get me some of these before I do a lot of many things. And so throat chakra clearing, right? So let's just go back to the forks in the road and the intellectualism of you being conscious, being awakened, being knowledgeable, being present. All this work is worthy of you to do, and you continue to do. And it doesn't mean that the temptation won't be there or the trigger won't occur and all these kind of things, but that's the classroom. If you can't change the reality of something, what is something that you can do? You can shift your perspective. You can change the way you see it. You can change the way you think about it. You can change the way when you change the way you think about it, it will grow into the way you feel about it too. It'll shift it. You can't change the reality of something, shift the way you think about that reality of something. So it's like we have this fork in the road. What cycle are you going to participate in? The cycle that you know, all you know. It's like I was having a very and these are topics that I usually tend to steer away from, especially from people that are not equipped to handle a conversation with opposing views. I am all for a healthy debate. I took public speaking, debate, class. Who doesn't like a good argument? Nobody ever wanted to argue with me. Because I go there. Like, why do you always have to take it there? Because of the Scorpio in me. Thing, right? So, and it's to sting you alive. But of course, first you must die because it hurts. And the only way to get past that hurt is to die. To resurrect. right? I've been hearing the term, like I don't, like I said, like I don't like labels and all these kind of things and stuff like that. But it's just interesting because it's the evolution of language and terminologies and definitions and labelings and all this kind of stuff, which goes to evolution. So I'm not gonna even knock it because it's part of the evolution. It's like okay, oh, because even when I hear it and I hear the articulation of it from these more youthful um much younger than me, um, evolutionists, spiritualists, master alchemists in their own right, like working on their evolution and healing journey and all this kind of stuff, and they're enlightening and you know, um, doing their singing and all this kind of stuff. Um, they use the term dark empath, and yeah, I've seen it in passing. I'm not saying I don't know, like clearly when I'm hearing it like trending now. Okay, um, I know what they're talking about. And it's funny because I'm like, so that's what I've been like, dark empath. Like in terms of like even though it's not new information, it's just a new terminology to consider that makes sense in terms of like certain things, right? Because, I go very dark, right? And it's part of my forte, like the ability to be able to go there because I travel there. If I wasn't able to go there, I wouldn't go there. And if I'm communicating about it, it's because I went there, I've been there, I've done that, and now I'm able to communicate about it, which is what many are too. You are the gateway keepers, the keys, the elixirs, the fixers, the leaders, the I hear the words, but I don't say it. The innovators, the visionaries, the like, healers, like, the utopian. I love my witchy utopian concept, right? Where everything's perfect. Witchy is a person believed to be magical and enchanting. And utopia is an ideal state of perfection of reality that exists for all. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that reality. Magic and perfect for all. Oh shit. That means we all okay. Okay, in whatever way that's gonna be. Um, but okay. So, anyways, what's the thing? There's fork in the road. This is your golden opportunity to shift perspectives intentionally, purposefully, and masterfully, because you can and you will and you do. And you know that when you can and you will and you do, you are creating the legacy of alchemy and alignment for you because it's in your truth. And that even though you may not know what that looks like, you know that it's in the right arena and that it can only be good. And so you trust in that faithfully because you know that this is worth every ounce of effort, of energy, and practical magic that you gift to this now moment that creates your forever moment and your future moment because you're in your present moment. You guide in the reins of your own chariot at this time because you are intellectually present too. And that's a team effort too. So your feelings and your mentalities are collaborating to create a harmonious program for yourself that you are igniting with your action. That's your practical magic. Fighting for a cause. My cause is my freaking salvation, my freedom, my ability to rise above that which has been conditioned unto me and say, no, this is not for me, but I am creator cooperating here in this quantum universe that I have been fortunate to awaken to with all the opportunity that is here for me, waiting for me to wake up and see the real reality of all that is before me, and how fear had blindsided me and conditioning has made me not see. And now I see with such clarity the opportunity and my position to be empowered to choose for myself that which I desire. What do I desire to inspire? And that could be the next question you ask yourself after that realization of the intellect of realizing that, oh shit, I'm in my fork in the road right now. I can either act this way, or which is what I've been doing, or I can push that to the side and know that when I take active effort into the direction of that which I want to go, because intellectual is the seeds I sow, because this I know that if I can't change the reality of something at this moment in time, I gotta change my perception of it so that I can create the atmosphere that is needed in order to energize the solution that is for my resolution, that is for here, for me to execute, you see. That is up to me to do that. This is the fork in the road. Talk about that a lot with the ask, and it is given, right? And it's a helpful tool to use, right? Getting into the deeper pockets of your own truth. Why do I do this way? For what result? And how would that result make me feel? And is that what I really want? And if it's not really what I want, then what is it that I do want? And okay, I'm feeling this certain type of way, but how is it that I want to feel? Okay, I want to feel this type of way. So right now I'm feeling this type of way. What choice do I have to make? What can help me, guide me to feel and act in the way that I desire to feel and act? What can help me get there? How can I help myself? Because I'm the only one that can do this for myself. So what can I do right now that's going to help me to feel good? How can I perceive? How can I receive? Oh my God, I'm getting excited right now just thinking about these things, because I know that even in this leveling of thought system right now that I'm intellectualizing all of this and taking the time out for this. Let me get a pen and paper for this. Let me write this all down, because this is important. I am important. I love putting my passions and my conscious choices into such heightened levels of importance for myself, because this is important. This is something that I didn't do before, and now I'm doing for myself, and it feels good. It feels good to get to know myself the best. It feels good to get to know myself and to operate from that which is my truth, my authentic space. This feels good. Hey. What's your name today? Okay. Why am I here? What am I doing? How am I doing? How am I feeling? Is this my truth? Is this what I'm telling myself? I know these are all rhetoricals, but okay. Let me answer each question honestly with myself, and let me sit and ponder. Then let me read that back. Wow, let me process that. Wow, this is a lot of work. No shit, Sherlock. But this is awesome. Because the more that I do this, the more that I feel great. The more that I feel great, the more that I do. The more that I do, the more that I am in sync. The more that I'm in sync, the more that I flow. The more that I flow, the more that I grow. The more that I grow, the more that I glow. If you're waiting for others to help you pick up on your own traction of energy, of support, the lesson for you is that until you gift it to yourself, it's always going to feel like crickets in a room in support of you. of an absentee view, a perception that you'll want to see and say, ah, everybody's always out to get me. Nobody's here to support me. How to build this up for myself from the bottom up. Granted, true and not true. Because we always need people in this plane of existence, even though we are operating and learning to do for ourselves and be all that we can be for ourselves in high honor and respect, knowing our sense of worth and doing only that which we want to do. And if we don't want to do, we don't feel forced to do, or I don't have to do it, I don't have to accommodate, I don't have to pacify, and I don't have to, like, all of a sudden put on, like, get high or drink or do something so that I can be here right now that I don't want to be here right now, or, like, tap out, and so this is, when you get into the intellectualism of understanding your placements with things, well, how will I know what things to pay attention to? When you're making moves, analyze your moves. Instead of analyzing Tom, Dick, and Harry's fucking moves about why they move against you and the way that they do and do all these kind of things and do and look at you and view you and talk about you and do this and all this kind of stuff, all that freaking work and energy spent on getting to the distortions of other people that are, it's not your work to do. Right? And just getting into that development of really knowing your space. Because you can't go wrong that way. Even if there be opposition, and even that dies out. There's always going to be with every new level, there's a new double. But the first double starting is always going to be with yourself. And how you can catch it is when you find yourself going that way first. Let us process this. Why were you about to point your finger that way? What do I have to say to me right now? What is it that I need to see that I'm not seeing that can help me in this current now phase that I'm trying to work through? Because I want to understand it for the better of the whole of the all that is now. And I don't want to feel this way. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to receive that which is for me at this time to understand, overstand myself and my current placement at this time, this experience. Oof. Stretch out the experience. And oh, okay, thanks. It's taking the initiative. It's executing consistently. And it's also not beating yourself up when you don't. We're not robots. I love to nap when I can. Right? When I can nap, and if I feel like a nap is needed, I'll take it. Sometimes I have to rearrange schedules and things like that because a nap is really needed. And I'll rearrange shit if that's ever the case. It's not that type of I can't say it can't. It's never happened, but that's not a common. That's a rare one. Like that's like if it's extra double full moon and lots of shit going down on my work schedule, cray, and I got a lot of things going on my plate, and bleeding out my vagina or something. I gotta I need a nap. It's been a rough and tough and woo, I've rearranged stuff. Good. Ain't nothing bad about that. Beat myself up about that, like what the fuck, or enjoy my nap and then be even greater because of it. Hey, I'm just sharing and oversharing, but whatever the case may be, take with it as it will. But I had to come to peace with my enjoyment of naps, because we can speak about this in a negative way or a positive way, because this is part of the delivery of the Orpheus lesson about how he took a very sad and unfortunate situation, and instead of reflecting upon that which was devastating and hurtful, he instead chose to reflect upon on his dying bed that which was of gain and abundance and prosperity. That was the gift. And you can look at it, and again, it's mindset, it's conditioning. There's so many ways we can explain this, and that's fucked up. It's such a sad story. That's like a Romeo and Juliet. That's like, two star-crossed lovers, never getting their joy. Like, that will be all negative narratives, right? That will create a conditioning of a cycling of a thought system that will cycle about and be the reality that those create, those conditions into that thought system will create, whether they're conscious of it or not. It's the belief system instilled into them from that which they were born, right? And so being mindful of that thought process and that speech process about how you are perceiving certain kind of realities and situations and experiences, and what you're saying about those experiences, and what you're thinking about those experiences, and how it's causing you to feel about those situations, right? So like trauma based and like feeling left out and not having support and things like that can build up a behavioral pattern and conditioning to view the world like not helpful to you, and like the world turns itself against you, and how people have turned their back and hurt you, victim mode mentality. Like you can go into that kind of vibration too, but like and that's a trauma place too that you would have to heal from too. But when you've worked and worked and worked and worked on yourself, like even though the reality may not have fully changed, the fact that you've worked on yourself in that kind of way, like you've evolutionized in some kind of way, but it's sometimes hard to see that turning of the page that you have already done in the environment that still, which makes you sick, you're still in, like, so it still has a kind of like a triggering influence over you, like whether it's indirect or direct or whatever the case may be. And to wrap this up, but yeah, so like mindset and fork in the road, choice. You can't change the reality of something, change the way you perceive it, and that's what's gonna help shift the reality in divine right time. And divine right time is not on your time clock, even though it can be, and even though it can be studied, learned, implemented, manipulated to be, and that's going to be different for everybody. But when you're unconditioning your conditioning, the focus should be on the actions you take that are going to cellular activate in your brain wave activities, that which is going to infuse within your being the activations that may have been dormant or needed in regards to whatever is circuitry now with the leveling of activations you are activating with whatever it is that you're putting and doing and off and go so deep that even I am like, what the hell? Like, you know what I mean? Keep it as simple, especially in the beginning, as you can keep it in terms of intellectualizing why you're doing what you're doing. It's very important, especially when you're shifting your inner environment. Your mind, your consciousness got to be called out so that you can activate the participation that the human has yet to learn because it has not done so for so long. Which is why these symbolic acts are helpful when you do them, because there's a whole scientific quantum component taking place that, unless you're a science buff and bio, like, you know, like in physiology, like if you're into all those kind of like sciences to understand our neurological and cellular and molecular functions and all this kind of stuff, then that's your thing, then you get it on a whole other cellular level. Like, but if that's not your thing, the only part that I'm gonna highlight would be that know that whether you're conscious of it or not, when you do these acts and you take these actions and you are to reprogram that which you are accustomed to, whether you're conscious of it or not, these acts activate these cellular like circuitries that, because you're such a multidimensional being, that it processes, fires these circuitries in your brainwave activity and all this whole neurological functioning system that's physiological too, that affects every single kind of system within you. And what it does is it creates new cellular memory and activation. Now, the more consistent you are with the behavior that you're activating, that is reprogramming your system, the more traction you will build within your system that will then further develop that which you are shifting, changing, and transitioning. But that's all on you too, you know what I'm saying? So, Neil. So, yeah, that's gonna be different for everybody too. But intellectualizing this process in a simple way would be, wow, when I activate and I do, I'm creating the traction that I need to shift all of this into the reality that which is in alignment with me, which is why I'm taking this leveling of action. I'm choosing to go this way in the fork. I'm choosing to look at my gains as opposed to my losses. And I'm going to talk about that and focus on that as opposed to what I've been focusing on and talking about instead, about all the aggravation and stress and all this kind of stuff and problems and feelings and the hurt. I'm choosing in this fork in the road to focus on that which is beneficial, and how this is a gain and a learning experience, and how wonderful, and like all the great stuff that comes from that. Like, it's a choice, although both realities are real. You gotta look at it like that. Even though the reality that you're trying to come out of has been the most predominant reality for you, and what you know the most, and that's what you're trying to shift out of, and that's why it's hard for you to conceive or perceive a different reality than what you have only known and stuff like that. But you have to also intellectualize that and understand that although that might be the truth for you, that does not mean that the other ultimate reality doesn't exist. See, a lot of people snuff that out based off of their conditioning because they can't see that which they have yet to experience or have for themselves. It's hard for them to conceive or believe that they can have these things. And so they don't believe it. It's hard to believe. And in that thought processing, it's like another kind of conditioning that will create behaviors and patterns that support that thought stream. So in your intellectual present state of understanding the scenario, hey, because due to my conditioning, I have been brought up this way to behave in this way and to perceive in this way, and now I understand it in this way. And so now I'm activating in my leveling of present consciousness now the behaviors that are in support of my now truths that are activated through my ability to be aware of my current circumstances now. So based on how I am in my truth right now and how I feel right now, this is the way that I'm moving next. And it's shifting already. All the molecular, cellular, multidimensionalities, the activations within me, whether I'm conscious of it or not, I know this to be true because science sees that proof. Period. Okay. So mindset. Mindset is going to create the seed of your type of breed. So what's it gonna be? Then you got black flower fragrance, right? We're gonna read that from here. Dark mirror, full moon, sage, anger, right? The world is unfair. Fuck off, dear world. Fuck you. Visual seed. A beautiful woman, her face with a hint of resolve, holds a strange black rose on her chest. It seems to explode like a crystal, each petal an obsidian shard. Sentence. If we want to go dark, go black. Don't stop to the evening, but embrace the night. Going dark. Love is not a white dove, nor it turns people into angels. Love can be ugly. Love can be cheap. Love can be rotten. But even ugly love has a right to exist. Even cheap love can raise to the sky. Even rotten love has the dignity of eternity. Even a black rose by any other name should still smell as sweet. Even if you are wrong, you still have the right to be angry. Even if you're not perfect, you have the right to be respected. Even if you are stupid, you have the right to be listened to. Even if you are lucky, you have the right to complain. Even if you are rich, you have the right to be sad. If you cannot shine because you are beautiful, then shine if you are ugly. Shine because you are ugly, gorgeously black, ugly as love, worn out as an angel, cheap as a crown, unconquered as a fragrance in the night. And the next page, I just read the next line, which is forgetting oneself, which brings me back into this fork, this development, these two truths, right? These two realities, the going dark, the going light, but it's the inner sight that's being highlighted in all these cards. How one chooses to proceed. That's the fork in the road, you know what I mean? Are you going to go with the vulgar magic of your conditioned reality, or will you find acceptance, right, in all that is, right, as it is, and not like well, I don't want to say and not, because in the vulgar magic, if you are choosing from this fork in the road to go the traditional route, right? The complication of the words, like I'm trying to find the best articulation, and these are concepts and conversations that I'm having for the first time in this 3D perceived reality. And so doing the best that I am doing. And this is that, right? So right, like another like thing, smart ass thing I would say as a kid, like would be with the the bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't bullshit. Just be real. So, like, if you're an asshole, be real about that. Like, don't deny, don't hide behind that man. Like, just be real about it. Like, you know, like what I mean. So it's like the same thing with these forks in the road. Like, you have two levelings of consciousness of awareness in your present moment state. Like, you have the consciousness of what you have been accustomed to traditionalize into your system that you are working on awakening to and finding your solutions, your alchemy, your alignment, and realizing that a lot of that does not serve your currency now. And so, like Orpheus, you're taking that which was a challenge or a loss or, you know, difficult, and you're choosing to instead embrace that which is wonderful about that which wasn't that great. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the loss of the love of his life gained him this evolutionary experience that he knows that because if she was here, the happiness that and the bliss that she would have brought would have taken away that this exploring experience. Bring me back to what I was saying even from before, in terms of the mindset, right? Like the mindset of thinking that you can only have one experience at a time, right? Like that it's impossible to, like, you know, it never works out that way. Like, you know, you have to sacrifice one over the other because you have to devote so much energy. And then, you know, usually that creates complications in relationships that demand, that command attention and affection and, you know, and dedication and, you know, those kind of things. Romance land, right? Like, you know, these realities of perceptions. But, you know, we really dive into that which, you know, we want and deserve and all this kind of stuff, like, you know, we can look at it from a healthier perspective. But most people, when they dive into relationships and intimacies with other people, they're just diving into the pulsating, you know, getting lost in the passion or the lust and the chemistry being experienced that nobody's thinking about anything that would be helpful to the consciousness of the relationship being formed. You're learning that now to do that now and implement all that now, but it's through the experiences already once had to realize, like, wow, I've come a long way, and this is how I want to activate. This is how I want my relationship to be like, and so you do, and you attract that too, and you know, and that's how it be for you, like, you know, whichever way that it be. And so, you know, that's cool. But the mindset is from a conditioned experience that must be released. So, like, um let's say let's say let's say that recording. Hold on. I'm trying to wrap this up. But because I don't know, these last, like, again, I don't like to, like, overly emphasize on relationships and all this kind of stuff. But I feel like this is applying to that for some, like not for everybody, because the relationship that you must build and have most correct with first before you embark on any other kind of relationship to be with yourself first. Like, you know, and many now, like, you can have it. You can have what you want. It's possible. It's possible to have the perfect, like, you know, like relationship, love, like partnership. And again, perfect. When somebody says perfect, you think, oh, problem free, stress free life. And no, it's we are in such unification and harmony that together we conquer everything and we get through it all and we respect one another and love, you know, like whatever that's going to be for you and stuff like that. Like that, I just would imagine that too. That it doesn't mean that there's no challenges that present themselves. There's no like evolutions that need to, like, fuck out of here. Like everybody has something to learn in a lot of different things, but part of the hiccup with a lot of people is finding the right partner for you that is like they say, oh, it's not the person that you can't. Well, I'm gonna butcher it. To know the person that you like love is not the person that you. Anyways, it doesn't fucking matter. I don't want to butcher that, and I don't even want to go there because it's gonna make me forget. Anyways, like all the stuff I'm saying, but like in your evolution, you and the work that you do and the revolution that happens with you, whether you acknowledge it or not, you become the elixir, you become the alchemy, you become the ingredient. And mind you, we're multidimensional beings, so we have many layerings and flavorings. Right? And so, you know, this is infinite and expansive. So with each layering, each flavoring, you're getting juicier and juicier and juicier with your taste and your scent and your I'm gonna eat you. Right? And you eat yourself and stuff like that. And so delectable. Let's go. So ideal, you know, utopian, okay? This concept. Perfect, ideal. But but that's what's happening for real. The more you work on your evolutionary position, getting into your authenticity, your truth, in every single layering, uncovering of you, will be cooler than you. You cool, like you in your alchemy, you're in your rhyme, you're in your rise, you're in your prime, right? Um, and that's a buildup too of consistency of work that you do for you, you know what I mean? And so like it's there's so many layers of conditionings about relationships and partnering and ideas and romanticism out there. So it's going to differ for everybody. The advice is to get into what is your romance, your truth romance. Not what you've been chasing, not what you've been running away from, and not what you think you have been shown or told, or and not even understanding it from the position of Black or having to have that experience yet, or to always be disappointed in some kind of, not even coming from that perspective, but to really get down into what do you want. I toyed with this, right? And being really honest with myself, like in terms of like, you know, I'm I have I have I blame it on my Venus and Capricorn, right? In terms of like what makes me very reserved when it comes to like love and relationships and intimacies and partnerships. Like I'm very serious in that department, right? I could be all silly in life and all this kind of stuff, but when it comes to relate, I've never been able to. I'm not knocking anybody that can and do, and I'm not saying I never have or anything like that. I'm just saying that I tend to, I can't just jump from person to person and be attracted to every fucking body I see. Like I got turned on. The person could be gorgeous, celebrity, like all these kind of things, like everything. Like, oh, I was like, oh, flying and swooning, and the person speaks, and I'm just like, it's just eye candy, and that's not enough for me. I'm gonna fuck how you look. Although that could be nice and sweet, and it's nice when you're attracted to the person, to body, right? But no, right? And I've never related or in this lifetime with having to be with somebody. I'm feeling incomplete without somebody. Fuck out of here. Because of my empathic ways and healer ways, all of my life, people come to me for comfort, healing, intimacy in that kind of degree, whether it be a partnering or like friendships and or family, people that take comfort in that kind of energy and learning you can get that from me, like you know what I mean. And as a bleeding, that could be, especially when you're not receiving it at all from anybody, like but you're giving it away to everybody, you know what I mean, that needs it from you. That's not self-loving to you if that's what you do. Okay. All right, that's not self-loving, and stop that. And if you need me to tell you that, contact me. I will fucking happily tell you that you need to stop that shit, you know what I mean? If I need to be that like kind of like disciplinary thing, you want to think, I'll give you a thing, we got fun, okay? Whatever makes you like, stop it, whatever's gonna get you there. Like humor be my life. But whatever. What were we saying? What were we saying? I'm telling you, this needs to have like a playback. Like I should be able to play back the last 15 seconds. Like I was saying. Mindset. Thank you so much for if you're here and you're tuning in still and you're like waiting for me to finish what I was saying. You're so cute. Yeah. Anyways, wrapping it up. Hold on. Right. So like, okay. So the advice, really get into knowing what you want. I feel like a lot of people don't know that. They learn what they want to learn by experiencing what they don't want. And that's how they learn it. Instead of learning it first, then having to learn it the hard way. And so my advice would be to learn it first before learning it the hard way. Like what you really want, and ask yourself certain kind of things. Like I would literally, like, this is how I would know, like, and years ago, like I was very adamant about, like, I don't want to be married. I don't want to get married. So I even had jokingly had said, just because I had hang-ups about the traditional marriage system and my view on the view that was understood, and I was just against that like system. That I was like, you don't need a piece of fucking paper to profess your love and to give devotion and all this kind of stuff. Like, anyways, it was just like a different. Oh shit. Hold on. Like I just feel that it's important to be conscious of that before you go jump in thinking because of your conditioning that a relationship is something you need or that you want or that's your end goal. I think your first goal should be to get to know you the best and to give yourself the best and learn yourself the best and allow those experiences in doing that to be whatever they are. But to be fixated on a tradition, no system that will tell you first comes love, then comes love, then comes when the baby carries. Really? Is that what it is? Procreation, romanticized, and then divorce city or miserable lives because compatibility wasn't between these, just lust or conforming or lack thereof understanding. That's why it's the advice. Get to the bottom of knowing your truths, and you don't have to wait to have a bad experience to learn it. Like that's conditioned stupidity. To think, oh, well, how would I have known if I didn't have this experience? As you had thought, you could have learned without having had the experience. And nobody talks about that. I do. I call my own stupidity now. I'm like, why you think about this people? Because I was so bad. Oh, I can't go. Okay, we gonna forgive myself. But we're gonna try not to be stupid again. Right? But it takes you waking up to the stupid. And it's me jokingly saying it in this kind of way. People could take offense and stuff like that. I'm not stupid. I used to have a personal vendetta against that word. I didn't like that word. I didn't use that word. My daughter thought for the first like 8 years of her life, she thought stupid was the worst thing you can say in terms of curse. That's how, like, because I work so much with like children too, like this, like even though I curse and stuff like that, especially when my daughter was young, her whole youth, she never heard me curse once. Like I didn't curse. I converted every curse word into another type of word, and I just flowed with that, and I didn't like it wasn't anything hard to do. Like even when I wasn't with her, I wasn't cursing either. Like really, and I still don't really like curse, but like I curse, but like what I'm saying, like it doesn't matter. But either way, like I remember she's like, "Mommy, he said that word." And I'm like, "What he said? Tell me." What that word he said? I'm giving you permission to tell me. I can't. I'm tell me. It's okay. You're not gonna get in trouble. What word did he say? He said, "What is that? Wow. What word is that?" I remember that day. And the story gets told because it was the cutest fucking thing ever. Like, she was just so cute. She's like, you don't say that. That's not nice. Right. So, because my aversion with that word was because my dad used it too much, and that was appalling my cry as a child in that development, like being on that other end of just being called stupid. Who the fuck wants to be called stupid? I'm not fucking stupid. So, of course it goes with the healing aspect. I'm not there anymore. I'm just saying, like, I'm sharing. So like I didn't, we learn from our experiences and we implement that. And so like the new implementation that we do is new. And so it's unknown. We don't know if it's gonna work. The only way to know is do, but with our alignment. That's the fucking difference. The fucking difference is that you're doing it with consciousness, awareness, knowledge, and information that you are coming to terms with and truths with, and you're creating experiences, and then you're learning from the experiences whether they work for you or not, or whatever the case may be. But like, you're learning development of that or whatever. But at least it's in truth. Anyway, it's like I didn't mean to go off in that either. But a lot of like conditioning has us believing certain things that we are taught without saying certain things, but like as like it's like a truth. And so in a conditioned environment and setting, most times we don't question certain things. And if they go left unquestioned, it would take the individual to have that leveling of evolution within them to seek that upon themselves without any guidance. You know what I mean? And so that's possible too. If it's look at you, look at me. We don't have that kind of guidance. It led us on a like down the rabbit hole straight, like what's this things, and then learning things as we've gone along, because shoved into the matrix after all we were, right? So it's a different birthing song. And so this fork in the road is this opportunity. You can look at it and choose which mindset you want to focus upon in this new space. You have all realities in front of you: good, bad, dark, light, shadow, ugly, pretty, beautiful, whatever the case may be. It's your palette. What is on your palette of focus, right? And then, creating these environments for yourself, becoming your own snow globe. What do I mean by that? DIY, do it yourself craft. We're gonna make a snow globe. What do you want your snow globe to look like? You're putting all the pretty stuff inside before you close the wall. Hey, so my biggest advice would be for the youth in terms of dating and love and all this kind of shit. Boom. I would like to say, learn you, fuckable, buggable for a little while. Stay celibate. Be proud to keep your vessel sanctified. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Let the thirst buckets be thirsty over there, right? And honoring your purity of divinity in that way, and purifying your temple with truth along the way. Just because I'm reserved in every kind of way doesn't mean I've never had a crush. It doesn't mean I never liked somebody. It doesn't mean there wasn't flirting, there wasn't talking, there was possibilities, there was potentials, there, people are interested, people, whatever the case may be. It doesn't mean that those things don't occur. But it doesn't mean you have to react to every opportunity presenting itself to you. You get to experience what you want to experience. And it's in these opportunities that are presenting themselves to you that you get to start asking the questions. Knock and the door shall open. Ask and you shall receive. What is it that I'm looking for? You know what I mean? This opens up a bracket of things. I'm looking for an intimate, devoted partner, a loyal partner. I'm looking for a good time. I'm looking for something detached. Not, getting into your truth. Like even when you first meet somebody, like before you, like some people get so fucking swept away with the beginning stage, like, oh my god, this is my one. And I laugh. I laugh because you have to laugh. You have to laugh. But like every person that is like really into like the whole soulmate, twin, like definitions of things, twin flame, emperor, king, my king, all these like female calling every person that they like every single time their king, their emperor, this is my one. Like, you just let the dude. Like, and I'm not saying that you kind of connect, like, we all each have our own experiences that I'm intense. I am very intense. So all my connections are intense. Like, it's never been any different than that. Like, it's always been intense. So, passionately intense. Like, we going, we're going. Like, it's, right? So, I get it. But like, I like to like play devil's advocate, especially upon the beginning stages. Like people used to like, even from when I was younger, they'd be like, "But how do you know if you don't try?" I'm like, "Because I know, because you're not inside my mind. I've already asked myself a 50 million thousand different ways and saw the situation in every which kind of way, and I answered my truth and my questions in every kind of way. Do you really like this person? Can you see yourself looking at this person and holding your hands, like, like, because I was very childish too, like in terms of like growing up. If I ever did have a boyfriend, we didn't hold hands and things like that. Like, I'm not very public in that kind of way. Like, I don't hold like like it's for my husband. So even if I was like, I love her or something, we don't hold hands, we don't do none of that kind of stuff. Like, no, like, like space, give me like misunderstood, like, you know what I mean? And I had to dive into that. Like, am I really cold? Am I really not like, whatever? No, it's just because I know what I want. But I wasn't there in the consciousness of seeing that, like in terms of just, instead like I'm questioning my stance and like my position, or the projections of like hurt feels or anything like that. Like, you know what I mean? Being a heartbreaker for real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because love can be disappointing for real. Like, same way that it can be disappointing for me, I've been a disappointment for others because they wanted more that I can't give, right? Being in a different position, like runner chaser dynamic, like of being or feeling rejected in some kind of way. But is it really rejection, or is it really getting to know yourself and what you want and what you don't want? Like, and being honest about it too. That's how I would know. Like, and it would be sad, like, for the people that wanted more, for me to be honest and like, this has a timestamp. Wonder when that timestamp's gonna be. And and it's not to make them feel inadequate or to hurt their feelings or in any kind of way. It's just being honest in that kind of way. And if you want to invest in that kind of way, is it possible to be harmonious the whole entire time? Like, it's complex, but I'm a big advocate on honesty. Let's be really real about what this is. So like, and approaching each time or opportunity or whatever with clarity. Like, I don't want to waste somebody's time, and I don't want to lead somebody on, so I'm not going to do that to you, right? I wouldn't want it done to me. So I would rather know that, hey, let's say if you just want to like fool around, hey, I'm not really in, like, I don't see this as a forever. I don't mean to be rude, you know, but we got great, you know, chemistry kind of thing too. Like, I'm just being real superficial about this too, like, just really like, but I'm just saying how communication is so fucking helpful. So many people don't know how to communicate because they lack the evolution of maturity in that department, because they don't execute, they don't activate, they don't do, they don't work past their fears, their blocks, their, you know, whatever, or they don't think. Whatever the case may be. And a lot of people get hurt in that process. Right? Shit.
Sorry, they died. That's all. I know that I was talking too long. But either way, my dad was like, how long is this one? 3 hours? I'm almost done. Okay, whatever the case may be. Anyways, I'm a big advocate for healthy honesty presently. And if you're not equipped, like, you know, to talk about it, then you're not equipped to be about it either. You know what I mean? And you can choose not to talk about something, but be equipped in that something and knowledge of something. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to tell nobody anything. I'm not talking about that. But it's like, if you can't articulate something, then do you really understand it? You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, I just feel like there's a lot of like people that don't even know themselves, and then just dive in without thinking into passion, lust, and get caught up in the whirlwind of being that empath that can pick up the energies and emotions of others and intermingle it with theirs, and interpret it as their own and ride that way, right? And wake up one day and be like, what is this for mine? I don't want this for myself. And, you know, we as the evolutionists are creating different environments where that doesn't have to exist anymore. You know what I'm saying? So that's a new door. And so, you know, evolution is knocking at your door, knock at your door to activating you, the awareness in you, furthermore, to really give yourself the opportunity to choose wise at this fork in the road time of something. If you choose to ignore, then you're just cycling that old energy for real for more. Avoidance is not going to be the key, especially if it's pressing and it wants to get worked through. You know what I mean? Let's see somebody. All right, the angel card, and then we're gonna end it on this. I'm just gonna pull angels. Archangels, angels that want to present themselves and their energies here at this time to gift us the emotional wisdom and maturity and solution at this time. The energies. You can just go look at these angels on your own too and see what further messages they have for you that's going to align with your levelings of truth I'll spell it too. Hekamaya. H-E-K-A-M-I-A-H. Loyalty to divine principles. It's angels all about these kind of energies, okay? And then they also have the human distortions of it too. So I'm going to give that, okay? Hekamaya. Loyalty to divine principles. Royal attitude. Respects commitments. Coordinator. Pacifier. Candor, nobility. Granted responsibilities. Liberator. Universal love. Becomes a leader. A person in charge. A president. Political and social organization. Human distortions. Treachery, betrayal, war, rebellion. A lifestyle marked by arrogance, snobbery. Complexes of superiority and inferiority. Envy, jealousy. Excessive materialism. Agonizing struggle torn by remorse or indecision. Obstructs the realization of our higher nature. Selfish, self-centered love, passion. Plotting, scheming. Provokes dissension in a group, discord, disagreement. Feeling of being diminished, servility. Irresponsible. Idolatrous. Egocentric. Megalomaniac. Yeah. Right. So I'm gonna pull one more. Cause I wanna be. Somebody wants to be more than just friends. And they're working up the nerve to express themselves. And nerves got them feeling some type of way. They don't know how to stay. They don't know what to do. I have turn to the angels in that kind of way because they're gonna help you to have the courage that you need to speak that which you need to speak, express that which you need to express. Just operate from your heart center God. Iezeel? I don't know. I-E-I-A-Z-E-L. Iezeel. Consolation, comfort, appreciation, period of renewal. Consolation after effort. Aww. Restores and revitalizes the body, helps us recuperate fully, prevents emotional outbursts and overspill, helps us master passion and very intense energy, sets us free from emotional conditioning and addiction to alcohol, drugs, etc., sets prisoners free. End of a period of ordeals or difficult situations, beginning of an easier period. Brings peace, harmony, and rejoicing, beginning of a new creation. Concerns writing, editors, printing, bookshops, libraries, reading, music, painting, and all the arts in general. Human distortions, okay? Difficulty consoling and comforting others, lack of intimacy and renewal, pessimistic thoughts, sadness, accumulation of problems, trials, ordeals, difficult periods, emotional outbursts, overspills, addictions, dependencies, passion, tumultuous emotions, discouragement, lack of confidence, tendencies to flee social life, reclusion, illness that could lead to death, unhappy, sad, pessimistic writing, music, and other forms of destructive art. Una más, and then we'll roll because this is already so long. I'll get to the timestamps eventually. It's the opportunity to like, comment, share, subscribe, say hi. You know what I'm saying? So this is Harahel. 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 Intellectual abundance, access to knowledge, capacity to materialize through technology, advanced programming. Emanates goodness, beauty, truth, well-balanced intelligence in all fields. Likes learning, learns easily. Intellectual creativity, practical intelligence. I don't know how to say the word. Fecundity. 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 fecundity, productivity on all levels. Okay, children who are obedient and respectful towards their parents, ability to make a fortune thanks to one's intellectual qualities, writing, journalism, publishing, and printing. Human distortion, lack of knowledge, ideas, or intelligence. Spends too much time on computers, lives in a virtual world, not grounded enough, lacks exercise, concrete action and contact with physical reality. Intellectual aberration, destructive writings, broadcasts, and influences that are negative. I'm yawning. I'm sorry. Negative for humanity. Mental opacity, incomprehension, sterility, lack of productivity on all levels, rebellious, disrespectful children. Fire burns everything on one's path, enemy of light, projects doomed failure, manipulation of the media for personal gains, fraud. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. I am so thankful. I hope that this is helpful in every kind of way, like working through the shadows. It can be, challenging, but it's not impossible, and everything that you do is worthy of your attention to and consistency to. I'm so proud of you, but you're doing this for you, and even though doing it for you collectively supports the collective in every kind of way, that's dope as fudge in every kind of way. So yeah, thank you so much. Okay, bye. Until